Karen King. We're volunteer co-managers of the Redcar Cleveland Business Network. We had a bit of a problem there with a technical problem, so we're definitely live now. If this is your first time watching, the Business Network was established as a regular meeting place where business owners like yourself meet other business people to share best practice, give advice, and provides a forum to offer business advice and guidance from guest speakers. So apology if a few of you hear this every month, but we get a lot of new people coming through to Business Network who don't know who we are. So just for a few years now, we've been doing this for 3 years ourselves this month, but the Business Network has been going for a lot longer than that, probably nearly come up for 10 years. So we've been holding monthly face-to-face meetings, which are kind of have been fantastic experiences, nearly getting up to 100 people. But while we can't do that, we're trying to replicate the experience as best as we can online with this live multi-channel stream. So we're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. And if you're not already following us on Twitter and YouTube, I'm just going to put the captions up now, kind of where you can find us. So if I just pop this up here. So you can find us online on Twitter at BizNetworkRC. If you're on YouTube or you like to use YouTube, just search for Redcar and Cleveland Business Network, and do us a favour if you just subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be really helpful. A big thank you to Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council, who we work in partnership with, and a big thanks to our sponsor, Bede Financial in Mask, who sponsor our website, and they're doing that for another year. So we're really grateful to the team there. And our website is redcarclevelandbusinessnetwork.com. So for those who have previously attended our real life events, we usually invite everyone to stand up and give us a 15-second elevator pitch about the business, so we can network. But in these live sessions, we just ask you just to introduce yourself, give the name of your business, just pop it in the comments below on Facebook. You can also do it on YouTube as well. But please don't share anything that you don't want to be made public. This is being recorded. It does get watched thousands of times, and it does stay up on YouTube as well. I'm just going to run through today's agenda. First up, we have Andy Mogg. He's the owner of Lemontop Gin. I'm going to turn that off there. There we go. He's the owner of Lemontop Gin. He's going to be talking about how the idea came up to with this brand new tipple, and talk through the journey of bringing an idea into a real product. Next up, we kind of shoehorned Richard last month with a bit of time, so I've kind of brought him back up the schedule a little bit. So he's going to be second on the agenda. So Richard Baker's from Redcar Cleveland Ambassadors. He's going to bring us a place marketing update from the borough, so a little bit more time. And then we've got Sue Beverley from Department of International Trade Northeast. She's going to be talking about the opportunities available for businesses to market themselves overseas. So that's a really interesting presentation. So definitely hang around for that. And finally, we've got Ainsley Mullen from the business growth team at Redcar Cleveland Borough Council. He's going to talk about kind of a roundup of business support with a bit of a caveat, really, because it is budget day. So there's probably a few things that are going to be added on that we don't know about right now, or we can't really talk about. It's all kind of speculation. But you know, Ainsley will do his best to kind of talk through what's available right now. And then we'll pick up some of those other things in future business network events that get announced today. Any remaining time that we've got left, we might be able to pick up some questions about kind of digital marketing or business questions that you've got. And if you've got any questions for all of our guests, please just leave them in the comments. And then again, we'll try to pick those up. I've got my little feed in front of me here. I can see some people already saying morning, so we're going to come to you shortly. We're going to wrap up no later than 8:30. I don't think we'll finish anything earlier because we've got a lot to get through. But that's what today's agenda looks like. And thank you so much for joining us. If you have just missed the beginning, you probably missed the best bit, which is a technical problem. But now we've got to overcome that. The rest of it worked well. We always have one technical problem per presentation per month. So hopefully we've got past that now. So just let us know the name, your name and the name of your business in the comments, and I'll read those out shortly. Just a couple of quick headlines to cover. As I mentioned, today's budget day, and you might have read some headlines about business support, which I was just talking about, particularly for high street businesses, those in art, sports, culture as well. So until it's kind of formally announced later, it's all kind of speculation. But if you do feel confused and you can't make sense of it, a good friend of mine, they're organising a webinar on Friday morning. It's probably aimed at medium-sized businesses, to be fair, but it's always worth dropping in. And I learn a lot kind of from some of these presentations. So I'm just going to put this the address up on the screen here. I've got it all in the background here. Here we go. So it's a kind of a budget webinar. It's from a team of a kind of account specialists, but have a look at that. It's free to attend. It's Friday morning, 10 o'clock, I think it is. So have a look. There might be some other ones floating around that I don't know about. So again, if you know of anybody who's providing budget support, again, just drop it into the comments. It always helps other people listening to the presentation as well. The other kind of like headline just to mention, and there was a lot of people that went, was the FSB free weekly networking group on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Have a look at that web link. There's different ones across the area. So even if you might have been to one at Tees Valley, or you might have been to the Durham one, I think it was yesterday, and it was fully booked. So definitely try to get around to some of the different groups. There's some really good like-minded business owners out there. You don't have to be an FSB member to join these networking groups, and they will ask you to join, but you don't have to. But it's not a lot of money either. I think it's about £150 for the year. You get a whole raft of benefits for your business. I'm not going to go through that all now, but you know, the teams there will kind of talk to you about that. And I definitely would say it's well worth your money, not just for the networking really, but for all the other business support and the helplines that you get involved in, insurance and all sorts of things. So I would definitely strongly advise you to have a look at that if you haven't already. So I did say I'm going to have a look at the chat to see who kind of in there. So we've got Helen. Morning, Helen. Hope you're doing good. We've got Nick from Project Escape. Morning, guys. That's great. Andy, obviously you're here on the thing, so that's great. Lisa from Darlington Building Society. Morning, Lisa. Doing well, thank you. And you're going to be talking in May, just to let everybody know that we're taking a break next month for Easter, but we'll be back in May. So if you're not already in the mailing list, just go to the website, redcarclevelandbusinessnetwork.com, sign up for the mailing list. We only send it out once or twice. We don't bombard you with stuff, but it just lets you know what's going on, what's coming up. So do add yourself to the mailing list, and then we can keep you involved. So like Helen, so from Just Like Home, a business based in Cleveland Street, Redcar. They sell upcycled furniture, handmade home interior items, and upcycling supplies in store and online at justlikeHomeInteriors.com. Definitely check the website out. There's some really great stuff. Make some really good gifts as well for people, something a little bit different. Morning, Howard. I didn't know you were joining us today, so I've just done a little bit of a thing there for FSB. Howard, if you want to say anything about FSB, just pop it in the chat. It'd be really nice to hear from you. And we'll read those out. Morning, Kath from Dog School in Redcar. Morning, Nick Murray from Redcar Mind. Hope you're doing well. Chris Kilcoran, owner of TR Eat handmade chocolates. Oh yeah, we remember you from last month, Chris. I hope you're doing good. So homemade chocolates, mallows and jellies from our little home kitchen in Redcar. That sounds amazing. And definitely come and drop me a line, Chris. We'll see if we can try and get you kind of talking about your business a little bit later this year. It'd be really good to hear from you. Morning, everyone there. Guidron, hopefully I've pronounced that right. I do apologise if I haven't. So I've put some links in there from the FSB there, so have a look at that. Rob Linus of Linus Engineers here, so civil and structural design consultancy based at Wilton. Morning, Rob. I don't think we've met before, so it's really good to hear from you. So that's nice that you dropped in, and I hope you find this useful. And again, if you would like to talk to us about your business, later on in the year, that'd be great, or any kind of exciting projects that you're working on. Be nice to hear from you. Karen King, morning, Karen. King Celebrant Services. Obviously, Karen and I work together for the business network, so good for that. John Gettins, morning. John's a skills development officer from Tees Valley Combined Authority. Morning, John. Thanks for your emails as well. Recently started the new Skills for Growth program. John, definitely put some links in. Sorry if you've already done it. I haven't got that far yet, but put some links in. That goes for everybody. Put your website links in. Use this time to network. Really promote your business. Amy Crust from Jeff Crust Furniture. Morning, Amy. Hope you're doing well. And Kath there just introduced himself from Jug School. We're getting towards the end of the list here now. Isla Mamir, a coaching and training company in Teesside. You sound like you're new to the business. I don't think we've met before, so great to hear from you as well. Thank you for joining us. John Walker, morning everyone. Business is My Insurance Broker, specialist brokers of life insurance and mortgage protection. Thank you very much, John, for joining us. John Gettins from Skills of Growth put a link in there, and that's great. Chris, you can do a slot. That's great. And then good morning from Phil at Crystal Clear Food and Beverage Solutions. It sounds like you're new as well, Phil. I'm not. Don't believe we've met either. So thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you get some benefit from today. Again, please feel free to drop me a line if you'd like to kind of talk to us about your business. And morning, Mark from Cotum Coaches. Good to hear from you, and I hope all is going well. I appreciate it's probably a bit of a tough time for you right now, but I hope it all's looking bright and up for the future. And again, it'd be great because Mark, you've been in the group for such a long time, so it'd be nice for you to be on the in the network, to talking about your business and what you're doing and things like that. So again, invitations open to anybody really there. So that's a big roundup, kind of like who's in the group and who's chatting. And if you've not had a chance to mention yourself, please just pop it in there. Apologies if I don't come back to you, but we need to kind of like kick off, don't we? So I'm doing lots of talking here. So first of all, I'm just going to bring in Andy. Andy from Lemontop Gin. How you doing, Andy?
Morning. Great, thanks. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us at this kind of like ungodly hour on a Wednesday morning. It doesn't kind of suit everybody, but thank you very much for coming.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you've got this fantastic brand new like product, or fairly kind of like still new. I remember it sort of being out was it kind of like mid to latter end of last year? Is that right? Or did I see like a press release, something like that go out?
It was the last weekend in November we launched it, so it's been a long time putting it together and getting it off the ground. But yeah, it was nice to get launched just in time for Christmas.
And it looks so. I mean, looking just at your background there, it looks really distinctive, and it's got like it really shouts out. And I thought it'd be great to bring you in today because I thought it might just be interesting for people to understand kind of like the journey of the kind of the product, the idea, the concept, and how you've kind of brought that to reality. So how long, you say you've been working it for quite a long time, so when did you come up with the idea for Lemontop Gin?
It's one of those things, we had the idea quite a few years ago. Our main business is a creative design agency. We specialise in branding food and drink companies, so we work with a lot of distilleries, brewers, and people like that on their brands and developing and selling their products for them. So it's something we'd always talked about and wanted to sort of do ourselves. We have a lot of clients again who can sort of make the product for us. We know where to get the labels, bottles, things like that. So it was a case of putting everything together and coming up with a final product. So we wanted to do something that was a little bit different. We wanted to do something that was local and that the sort of the people of Redcar especially and Teesside could hang the hat on and say this is a proper local gin. It's unique in its sort of flavour, and we did that, and it sort of it also helped us because it was us putting ourselves in our clients' shoes, so going through everything they have to go through. So working with the council on licensing for the premises license, my personal alcohol license, and be able to sell the gin, and then sort of all the market research side of things that our clients would normally do. we've done for ourselves. So we understand a bit more about what they have to go through now.
Because that can be a challenge in itself, can't it? It's like when you're working on I know myself, like working on my own business, even though I kind of like do digital marketing, but when you're working on your own business, but you're working for somebody else, it sounds really daft, but because you're so blinkered and you're in it and you think what you know is right, it can actually be much harder to kind of make impartial decisions and maybe kind of like take a few risks. Would you kind of say that's kind of been the same for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's one of those things as well. Like with the way the bottle looks and the brand, it's we toyed over whether it should look like the creative agency side or whether we should give it its own identity. We wanted it to sort of really shout Lemontop and really shout Redcar. So we've got the wind farm on there, we've got the beacon on there, and obviously the Lemontop on the front. So they were all points that we discussed when we were going through our sort of meetings and our ideas at work, and sort of again whether we should include them, whether we shouldn't include them. Does it make us too local? Does it stop people from further afield buying it? And things like that. And again, it was one of those things, until you launch it, you don't really know. It's hard to tell. You can do all the market research and you can ask all your friends and colleagues and customers, potential customers. But until you actually press that button and make it live, nobody really knows.
And how did you go about, I know you talk about you work for clients and you do market research, but how did you go about doing your own market research for this product, and why did you choose gin?
We chose gin mainly because it's a growing market. There's a lot of room in there. It's something people enjoy, and it's a relatively straightforward product. And also we work closely with the guys up at Yarm Distillery. So they make the gin for us, but we do all of their branding and bottle labels and packaging and stuff for them anyway. So we had a really good relationship with them before it started. And so they were able to help us and sort of guide us in which way we should go with things, be able to advise us on flavours and things like that. But then it was a case, again, looking at what our customers were doing, looking at what the wider market was doing, and seeing, sort of talking to people when we were in bars and restaurants and things like that, when we were allowed to go in those places, about what they were looking for in products. So we did quite a lot of stuff on that, and sort of we think we've found a sort of a nice gap in the market between the sort of the higher end, really, really premium gins and obviously the sort of the likes of Gordon's, because we're not a massively high end gin, but we're not a really cheap gin. We're a nice sort of craft small batch gin that sort of sits in the middle between the two.
And you said you did you talked about different tastes there, so I guess that was a good part of the job then, was kind of tasting the different types of gin.
Without a doubt, yeah. There was a lot of research went into it, a lot of looking at flavouring, things like mixers. I mean, I've got a can of cream soda, so we figured out that it goes best when mixed with Ben Shaw's in particularly. But that really, sort of, because of the vanilla in it, really adds to the lemon to give you the actual Lemontop ice cream flavour in the drink.
So that's really interesting. So you can't. What came first? Did the name come first, or the flavour come first? Because obviously now the two kind of work together.
It was a bit of both, really, because our main company's called Lemontop. There was only one sort of flavour we had in mind, was that's what we were going to do, and it had to be Lemontop flavour and Lemontop colour as well. So it is really, really bright yellow, and it's packed full of lemons.
And then in terms of, I mean, at the moment, are you just selling it just online, or have you got distributors and that selling it for you?
At the moment, it's just online through our website, which is lemontopgin.co.uk. We're just in the process of getting our wholesale license, so we'll be able to sell it to wholesalers and distributors and restaurants and stuff. It's just a long process to go through with HMRC. It's like a 2-hour phone interview and all sorts of questions and things. It's we had one before Christmas, just before we launched, but it was one of those things that they weren't sure we would sell enough gin, so they weren't sure we would be big enough to have a wholesale license. So they said once we'd sold some gin to go back to them, and then they'd look at giving us the license for that. So just need to get back on with it, catch up back with that, and hopefully we'll be able to start selling to sort of distributors and stuff then, because we've got plenty of expressions of interest from places as well, which will help back up the application. So that's positive news for going forward.
And then on kind of your business journey, obviously that sounds like one of the challenges that you kind of facing is that kind of the the scaling to make it kind of a bigger profitable business. So what other challenges have you sort of come across in this particular journey?
Cardboard it's probably been the
right, yes.
Because obviously we launched during the second lockdown, I think it was. Getting hold of cardboard boxes to ship the gin out in. Again, we've got a lot of suppliers we use for our clients, but there was a massive cardboard shortage just before Christmas, so there was a few delays there. So even bottles and things like that, with a lot of the bottles being made abroad, especially in Italy, getting hold of bottles during sort of or after Brexit was a little bit tricky, because everything was up in the air there. But the rest of it, it's stuff we do every day. So the marketing side, the design side, that's what we do as a business. So that's the bit that came to us sort of naturally, and that we've been able to sort of develop the brand, and we've been able to advertise it on social media, and done things a little bit differently. Tried to stay away from sort of what the other gin companies are doing, and we've tried to keep it fun and all sort of seaside related, and just have something that's a little bit different for people to enjoy.
So for you then, sort of keeping to those kind of, I suppose, those core values and keeping to that original vision all the way through. You try to, what I suppose that kind of sort of leading down a path here, but I suppose that you're going to have kind of different opportunities come up to kind of develop the product in different ways, but you've always kind of kept it back to Lemontop Gin. You want to keep it local. You want it to be quite distinctive. And you want it, like you said, you wanted to keep it quite fun. So where do you still see that kind of still going to be the path for the next few years ahead, or do you think there might be kind of you might kind of change and you might maybe have different flavors, or how do you think it might kind of like grow?
We've got a few different things in the pipeline that we're looking to sort of launch. There will be this sort of variants of it and things like that, but we want to keep it simple, and we want to keep it sort of something easy for people to buy. So we've had people who are local buying it for themselves, but we've had people buying it for Christmas presents. We've shipped it to France, to Germany. It has gone sort of up and down the country and throughout the world, and we just want to keep it simple so that people can understand it, and that it doesn't sort of start getting diluted and away from sort of our vision of what it should be.
That's great. And I was on a it's kind of like nicely linked to Sue, really, kind of for her presentation. I know the Department of International Trade have been doing a big kind of roadshow for Latin America, so particularly like South America, in terms of Mexico, Chile. I didn't get a chance to do all of them, but it was interesting to see here in those particular countries that they're actually crying out for sort of British goods. Somebody's looking for cheddar. Somebody's actually said, like, we need to get like cheddar here, but they mentioned things like gin, and they mentioned things like whiskey, lots of different kind of like food and drink goods and stuff. So it's interesting you say that about kind of like markets in that abroad and how that's kind of like working for you. That's only definitely what I was like hearing from there. Do you think? How do you think kind of in your, certainly from a branding point of view, how do you think kind of Lemontop as it stands as a brand, kind of, do people understand it overseas, or does it's not even an issue?
It's been an interesting one, because again, a lot of people have not heard of what a Lemontop is, so that's sort of the first question, and then when you explain it to them, they get excited, I think, because it's that sort of childhood, it's that nostalgia. you remember having sort of really vanilla-y ice creams and things like that, and I mean, even locally, that's what we've sort of really captured with people who there's people who, we were talking to somebody the other day they used to drive up from Essex twice a year purely for a Lemontop and a spam fritter. So they'd ordered some because this was the first year in however many years they hadn't been able to drive up to Redcar to have that. So they ordered some gin and then sent us a lovely message afterwards saying how it brought back all these memories of sitting on the seafront over the years and things like that. And same with the guys who bought some guys who bought it in France. They were saying it just brought them straight back to being sitting on a wet and windy Redcar seafront eating a Lemontop ice cream. And it's sort of like that. That's what makes it all worthwhile. But it's that sort of element that we've captured with a lot of people that we possibly weren't expecting it to be so widely known as well.
I think it's interesting. Just while I'm kind of on the looking at the chat here, if anybody's got any questions for Andy, please just drop them into the chat. And we'll cover those kind of shortly. And Lisa Sidgwick, she's just put in the chat there. She got a bottle for Christmas. It's a lovely gin and highly recommend it. It makes a lovely gift. So that's there you go. So there's some fantastic feedback there, straight from the chat there. Thanks, Lisa, for that. But it's interesting because you got almost like you've captured the seaside in a bottle and the whole experience of life experience and stuff like that. So that it's really interesting from a marketing and a branding point of view, that trying to provide that experience to people sort of come back, for if you operate in a shop or something like that. But when it comes to things like food and drink, it's much harder, isn't it? Obviously, you've tried to encapsulate that with the bottle, the actual kind of like the way the colours and kind of how it looks and feels, but also now actually into the taste as well, and trying to evoke memories. And that, I think it's quite hard to do that. So I think that it sounds amazing what you've been able to do. So how long did you say it's taken you to? How long you've been working on this now?
I mean, from actually starting the design and everything of it it'll have been probably 18 months or so, I think. But it's been an idea that's in the pipeline for a long time.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like you start with the gin and you look at the mixers and then things like every order comes with a little postcard that's got a recipe on the back for a cocktail, so you can either sort of make that yourself or send it to a friend. And then other little things that we've started including things like coasters. So they've all got some on my desk. We'll see them. That way. So they've all got a bit bigger there. There you go. They've all got sort of the seaside feel, and we've done a sort of set of 6 of those and a set of 6 postcards with different recipes on. For cocktails, for food, we've had a really good response from sort of people on social media who've been making different cocktails with it. There's a chef at a hotel down in Yorkshire somewhere who's made some recipes with it, and he's done, I think it was a Lemontop meringue pie or something like that he made with it, and that we've put that on the blog, so people have been making that. So it's nice that people are getting involved with it as well, and it's not just us sort of pushing everything. There is a lot of interaction from the people who are buying it.
Let's get a couple of quick questions in. So how big's your team, and do you have to outsource any functions? So
there's currently 6 of us at Lemontop. The only bit we outsource is the making of the gin. So the guys up at Yarn Distillery, they make it for us, and then they bottle it, and it's all hand bottled and hand labelled, and then we do everything else. So all the design, all the marketing, all the packaging. So that's been fun over Christmas, trying to get bottles packaged and out and to the couriers and to the post office and things like that. So that's been something that we've done in house.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. There are a couple of comments here on socials that Howard says he's well into his 2nd bottle, and Chris Corcoran is saying he can vouch for Lemontop Gin. Cocktail postcards are stroke of genius too. And so there's some, so you've got some good fans out there, which is always really good to, certainly when you're kind of an early stage. So thank you so much for your time. And I feel I could talk to you like for a lot longer, but I've got to get everybody else in and have a chat to them as well. But thank you. And hopefully, bring you back at a real life event. And
yes, definitely. I'll bring some down for 7:30 in the morning. It's never too early.
I think Ainsley's kind of like up for that. I can see him in the background, like grinning. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm just going to bring in our next guest, and Richard Baker from Redcar Cleveland Ambassadors. I know you've had a few technical problems while we've just speaking to Andy, but I think you're all good now. So I think it's over to you, Richard.
I think so. Yes, it happens every month. I think. I don't know what the problem is. Thank you very much, Darren, and good morning, everybody. So the next hurdle to clear is screen sharing. So I'll see what I can do with that. But before I bring the slides up, just for anybody who might be unsure about what the Ambassador Program is about. So the Redcar Cleveland Place branding is all about promoting Redcar Cleveland as a great place to live, enjoy, and do business. So it's sort of like the main umbrella brand for Redcar Cleveland, really. It's non-political, it's independent, it's a partnership between the private, the public, and the community sectors. But it's everybody coming together as one voice, which is what the Ambassador Program's about, all talking with one positive voice about Redcar and Cleveland. So it's a really great thing to be involved in, and I would encourage everybody to join if they haven't already. I think I'm okay with the screen now. So I'm hoping everybody can see the screen now.
I've got something on my side.
All right. Hopefully it'll just come through. I think it took a second or two last time.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does take a few seconds for it to kind of pop up. Let's just see if it happens. We keep talking. I know you can talk through some amazing things in the presentation and talking through the next.
It's showing here as it's saying that it's sharing the window. So is it not there yet?
Let me just see. I'll see if I can share it from mine for you. I'll share it from mine, Richard, and then you can just tell me next screen.
Right. Okay.
Hopefully that should. Work. Here we go. So I'll put this up on the screen now. I'll just make this.
Okay. Right. Excellent. So yeah, if the next screen, that would be great, Darren, and the next one as well. Thank you. So what we've done is throughout the year we will be doing all of our usual promotions on social media, on the website, sort of covering everything really. But what we've decided to do is to sort of use 4 themes. Now, using those 4 themes gives us kind of 4 different hooks and hopefully 4 different reasons why the media will pick up on things, rather than just sort of keeping our promotions sort of consistent throughout the year. We're going to theme things. So the first of which we're sort of coming to the close. So the first quarter is investing in our bright future. So obviously this is a pleasant step away from COVID-related issues, because this is looking to the future, and we're saying that we've got over £1 billion worth of investments happening in Redcar and Cleveland or in the pipeline. Things such as the amazing activity going on at Teesworks, at PD Ports, big projects like Anglo-American and MGT Teesside, and then things sort of within Redcar and the borough, such as the Town Deal projects and things at Loftus and Kirkleatham. So there's lots of really big things happening. So this opening quarter of the year is all about promoting and celebrating those things. Have the next slide, Darren, please. So hot off the press, we've got the Investing in Our Bright Future online event planned. So that's taking place on Wednesday, the 24th of March, 9 till 10. So we've got some really good speakers. So we've got Matt Parsons from Anglo-American, who'll be updating on that major project. We've got Andrew Carter from Redcar and Cleveland Council, who will be covering the projects that the council are involved in and leading on. We've got Sean Donkin who is from the In Collection group. So they are the company who are the proposed developers for the hotel at Cotham. So that's quite exciting. And we'll have a representative from Tees Works, huge projects over there. So I thought it'd be a really good, positive event. Looking forward to that one. So next slide, thank you. So the next theme that we'll be looking at, and I think the timing should still be right, considering the Prime Minister's announcement last week, is looking to welcome people back. So that would be April to June. And like I say, I think the timing is probably right for that. It seems to sort of strike the chord with the various stages that have been announced. So we'll be supporting the work of the Culture and Tourism team in promoting things such as our amazing coast and countryside and visitor attractions, events where possible, and importantly, shopping, eating out and staying over. So obviously, taking full consideration of the government guidelines, we'll be doing our bit to welcome people back to the borough and supporting the businesses connected to that theme. So the next slide, please. Then looking as the next theme would be July to September. And again, I think that's probably the right timing. This is supporting local businesses. So what this would be about is hopefully from July, we've been assured that we're back to normal as much as possible, really. So I think that's probably the right stage to really sort of drill in and support and promote our local businesses. So that would be the shops, the food and drink, importantly, the service sector, the cultural sector, and also emphasising business support and grants that would be available. So that's putting the spotlight on our local businesses throughout that period. The next slide, thank you. And then the last theme is local projects improving our place. So that would be sort of towards the end of the year. This would cover things such as the more local projects, so perhaps the projects that might go under the radar a little bit and don't grab the headlines. So I think it's important that they're brought to the fore, and this will be more aimed at residents of the borough, so that they are aware of the improvement projects that are taking place that they can benefit from. So it's that this is a bit more about pride of place, and we would also be covering various community initiatives and charities. So, like I say, doing these things is important for us to try to get media hooks, so that we sort of grab the attention of the media. Next slide, please. Thank you. Just to summarise the ambassador events plan. So we've got the March event in the diary, the welcoming people back, which I would anticipate being the end of May. Somewhere like a Kirkleatham Wall Garden could work really well for that event. I mean, I think there's a bit of an aim for the Wall Garden to be opening around about that time. So a physical event on a pleasant evening in May sounds really good to me. So fingers crossed for that. Supporting local business would be in July, and the local projects improving our place would be October. Next slide, thank you. Then a couple of things just to finish, really. I just wanted to mention a few sort of individual projects that are happening. Some people may have heard about Beth Hodgson. So Beth has sort of stepped forward to help promote the place. So Beth has been furloughed, obviously, throughout the last few months from her employment. So she had some time on her hands and wanted to use that time productively. So Beth got in touch with me and asked if the things that she had in mind could be connected to the ambassador program. So I was delighted that she got in touch and told me about the things that she's doing. So she's doing 4 promotions on her Instagram and Facebook profile, which is, you can see it on the slide there, Beth Hodgson RCA. So she does behind the scenes Mondays at various businesses. She does midweek recipe Wednesdays, where she gets in touch with the local food businesses and shares recipes. She does local women in business Thursdays, which are live interviews on Instagram with local business women. And finally, Wine Down Fridays. So that's sharing, I think it's cocktail and mocktail menus from the local bars and things like that. So Beth's doing really good work. I would encourage you to follow her on her profiles. Your business may be suitable for Beth's audience. So if that was the case, you could perhaps drop Beth a message on those social profiles. Beth may potentially speak at a future event, so you could hear more from her. I think one more slide, I think, just to summarize things. So just some other plans and projects, just to sort of give you a bit of an advanced sort of notification about. We'll be getting in touch with the local town twinning association and the German twin town, and also developing a place partnership with another town and a place within the UK, and that'll be happening this month, so I can update you about that for the next update. We're looking ahead to how we can engage more with young people, which I think is important. Obviously, young people are the future of our place. It's important that we look at that, and at board level we've started discussions on that. We've got various photo and video initiatives planned throughout the year, and again, you'll hear more about those things. Obviously, we are a very photogenic borough, so it's important that we take advantage of the assets that we do have, and using photo and video is a fantastic way of doing that. Again, at board level, we've been discussing how best to look at inward investment. So we're going to be discussing that separately, working with the various partners and agencies locally and regionally about how we best position Redcar and Cleveland to capitalise on inward investment opportunities. And then the bottom two, which are two very exciting things, and obviously following on the back of the Prime Minister's announcement last week, does open the door again to, I think, to these two potential events. The first of which would be an Ambassador Expo, which would be similar to expos that we see and attend regionally, where we can get ambassadors in a big room with tables and pull-up banners, and it's a really good networking opportunity. So we're looking at that, and a potential Ambassador Awards event towards the end of the year. Again, very exciting. So the event itself would be fantastic, but importantly, that would give us the opportunity to have months of advance publicity and positivity, where we would encourage award nominations, which I think would be really important. I think that's probably the last slide, Darren. Yeah, I think that's it. So on there, you can see we've got I did actually update it, so yeah, actually it was on my copy. The ambassador email address, which we can probably put in the chat, is ambassadors@redcar-cleveland.gov.uk, and you've got the website address there. So just as a final wrap up, I would encourage everybody to join the ambassador program. It's free to be in, it's free promotion on the website, on social media, and we've got various extra publicity in the pipeline. We've actually got a new apprentice on board called Jack, and having Jack on board is fantastic, because that then allows us to do some of the more, I guess, time-consuming business shares, which when there's just been me working on the project for quite a while, that has been really difficult. So having Jack on board is really going to enable us to promote businesses a lot better. I think that's about it. Thank you.
That's fabulous, and it sounds really, really exciting, and particularly the Ambassador Expo and the Ambassador Award. So definitely your local business, or if you know somebody who's got a local business, then definitely go to redcarcleveland.co.uk, sign up to be an ambassador. There's like a little link at the top there to be an ambassador. Just sign up. It's free. Don't have to do anything apart from just talk positively about Redcar. But being in that group, it's about kind of networking with other businesses, raising the profile of your business, and then opening yourself up to all these opportunities and that. So if you've not done it yet, or you don't understand what it's all about, just go to the website, sign up, and then you'll be invited to these kind of few networking events. It doesn't matter if you can't join or can't come along, but you'll just be in the loop, as it were, to understand what the opportunities are. Thank you so much, Richard. It's really good to see you this month. And just to remind everybody, we're not here in April because we're taking a break for Easter, and also gives me a break because it's a lot of work kind of setting these events up. So we'll be coming back in May. So hopefully, a lot more businesses on the high street will be open. And as Richard was saying, the next event, kind of going into May, going into June, you kind of be sort of focusing more to kind of towards businesses and that. So please do join us, the ambassadors, and please do come back to the networking group, the business networking group that we're in now, back in May and June, because it's going to be absolutely vital to support everybody around the borough. So thank you. We got through that quite well, I think, this time, Richard, didn't we? So with all the technical problems. So thank you. Next up, Sue Beverly from DIT North East. Now, kind of apologies for Sue in advance, because I hadn't had chance to kind of explain how everything kind of works in the background with the software yet. So we're going to kind of figure this out kind of as we go along. Have you got a presentation, Sue?
No, I'm fine. I'd just rather have a quick chat, to be honest, Darren.
That's all right. That's fine. That's even easier than that. So, I mean, I mentioned, like, obviously talking to Andy. I mean, I've been listening into the kind of the DIT webinars for like South America and stuff like that this week, because it was like this whole big expo, which I felt was absolutely fascinating. I was just thinking of so many Redcar and Cleveland businesses that could be sort of taking advantage. Certainly in kind of food and drink, that could be, you know, they could be kind of potential new markets for them. So for me, I wasn't even in that market for food and drink. Just to see like those opportunities are out there. Would you be able to talk through kind of some of the things that, you know, people can do?
Sure. I mean, it's funny that you've tuned in. I mean, we do, for anyone who doesn't know what we do lots of events and online support. Anyone who's thinking about exporting, you don't have to be a huge company to export. And even the word export, I think, so a lot of people say to me, oh no, I don't export. But actually, if you sell anything overseas, even once, or a service, or you know, a product like Andy's gin, then you're an exporter, really. And we can help, you know, even small companies plan how you're going to export. I'm actually the trade advisor for the Redcar and Saltburn area, but my background is e-commerce as well, so I'm the e-commerce advisor. And it's funny, Darren, that you say about South America, because some of the statistics, we all know it's gone crazy, hasn't it, online sales in the last year. But the some of the global statistics that I was looking at recently, and this isn't a good choice, Darren, good choice to pick South America, showed that actually, you know, it just happens. South America is the fastest growing online global markets. It'll never, you know, it'll never overtake China, obviously, because China is accounts for over half, I think, of the, can't remember the exact stat, over half of the world's online purchases. But Argentina in particular, and Singapore actually, the other place, have grown, and some of the countries in South 70% with their online sales in the year. So yeah, we do a lot of DIT. For anyone who doesn't know what we do, our website is great.gov.uk. Have a look on that, because it just shows everything that you need to know if you're thinking about, like, so Andy with his gin, thinking about can I export? What do I need to do if I'm selling overseas? There'll be loads of information on there as a first port of call, or obviously speak to me. We do actually have a dedicated food and drink advisor in the region as well. Great guy called Manuel Fantine. Lovely. I don't know if anyone's come across him, but if you have, he's a really great guy. And he's our specialist food and drink advisor for the Tees Valley. We do everything. We do everything from research. So it was interesting to hear Andy talk about how he's done his market research. But imagine if you think, well, is there, you know, we've sold a bit into France, say, that I can't remember which markets Andy was talking about. And a lot of people who sell kind of by accident, particularly online, I think, sell reactively. An order comes in from France, and then they start thinking, oh, maybe I could sell more into France, or more into Germany, or more into the US. And I think sometimes people don't know where to go from there, and it's a risk, isn't it? Let's face it, I've run a business. My background, I had my own business for a lot of years, and it's a risk, isn't it, when you start thinking about expanding, and which way do you go, where do you go when you expand overseas? So, or even if you do, you know, am I ready to expand overseas? So on that website, it's a great starting place, loads of information about research, how to do it, how to contact people who can help you. There's a team of trade advisors in in the northeast for you. But we also have teams in all the embassies overseas as well. So very often we can just pick up the phone to Germany and just, you know, or France or wherever it might be, and just say, have you got any information on, you know, the gin market in Germany, for example, or the gin market in Argentina, as you were talking about. So we can do that. We also have funding. I need to say that we've got 2 lots of funding at the moment, but the most important one for anyone that is thinking at all about export, we've got a pot of funding that's just for Tees Valley businesses, and it is coming to an end. So if you are looking at exporting at all, it can help with optimizing websites for overseas sales, for example. And it's not just for e-commerce businesses, optimization of a website. If you've got a service that, you know, if you're a financial service or a training service, you're a coach. I know there's some coaches on the line I could see earlier. You know, if you anybody that wants to attract businesses from overseas to sell their services or products to, you can have some funding to help you optimize your site to do that. And it's going in May, so it's been running, and it's a % match. So you spend 9, and you spend 1,800, and you get 1,800 if you spend 3,600. 9K is our latest grant, actually, which is a national internationalisation fund grant that gives businesses up to £9,000, which is massive. We've never had anything that extensive before. And it's a 50% match. So you have to spend the 18 to get the 9. But actually, really worth thinking about if you're thinking about exporting. If you're very, very new to export and you just want to check it out, we've actually just launched an Export Academy, and it's a series webinars with a little network of people local people in Tees Valley that are interested in exporting, and it goes through everything for kind of the risk factors, the opportunities, the barriers, you know, how you would do your market research, how you do an export plan, how you get your partners overseas, how you distribute something if you go in wholesale, like Andy was talking about with his gin, how you how you price if you're gonna, you know, sell overseas, because obviously that's got other implications you need to think about. And then finally, I think the one thing I would just is, and you might want to chip in a bit actually, Darren, is we're doing a lot of trade missions, and in the past we've literally taken businesses and overseas to meet buyers, to meet the people in the embassies and to network, and they've worked really well in terms of getting business. But I can see a comment from Mark. Oh, I'll talk to you in a minute. I love tourism, Mark. Thanks for that's my passion, tourism. So the trade missions at the moment, we've taken them online because obviously you can't jump on a plane. So we're doing loads of virtual trade missions. Darren took part in one that I was working on, which was at the digitech sector to Indonesia. And actually, Darren's, you know, he's working on business that he's won out there. So I think what I found with the virtual tech missions is you can take part in them from your desk. You don't actually, it's to a very little cost. I think, I don't know, Darren, I can't remember. I think you paid maybe 50 quid.
It was just 50 quid. Yeah. That's all it was.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, ROI on that, Darren. It's unbelievable, isn't it? So, and they're great. They're absolutely great. They talk, you know, there was a session on pitching, how to pitch, because obviously when you're talking online now, like we are, a different experience. And when you're trying to engage with buyers, you can't just go, here's my product you want. It's difficult. You can't read body language, you can't, and it's a different culture. And so we did a whole thing on pitch and how to set up your background, for example, which I don't think I'm doing particularly well at today, but or, you know, how and what not to say and what to say, and the psychology of negotiating online. So there's all that involved, which was fascinating. And then we had a morning where we met online with buyers. You were set up with buyers, weren't you? And kind of people who were interested in your product. And they work really well. And we're doing loads of those across loads of different sectors. But have to start, if you're interested in thinking about it, look at great.gov.uk. And also there'll be a contact there for us as well if you want to contact me via Darren, if you wanted more advice. Mark saying he's spoken to Leslie Hawke in the past. So Leslie, Mark, my name's Sue. I know Beth. Beth's my surname. I tell you what, I've had £1 for every time that's happened to me in my life. I wouldn't be sitting here. I'll be sitting here now. So my name's Sue Beverley. So Leslie, yeah, was our business development exec. She's with Tees Valley now. I don't know if any of you Tees Valley network, business TVCA, you might come across her, but she was our person. So increasing your exposure to inbound tourism. Yeah, I'm just looking at Mark's little emojis. I know, great loss, but she's still in Tees Valley. My background's tourism. I for a long time, for many years, worked promoting destination marketing, all the kind of stuff that Richard was talking about actually. And I did it as a private company. I was self-employed, and I was a consultant for lots of destination marketing partnerships across the UK and some internationally as well. So and I'm a local to the, probably tell by my end. So yeah, I'm absolutely passionate about inbound tourism. It's really my thing. So yeah, Mark, happy to have a chat with you outside of here. But the website, the costs can be used, the grant can be used for translation of website. Some people think, well, it's inbound tourism, how's that export? But you just follow the money, follow where the money ends up. So it's overseas money that's going to be spent in the UK and export. So anyone who's in the tourism sector looking to bring tourists from overseas, yeah, it can be used. It can be used for translation services. It can be used for lots of different things. Optimization of your website, translating some of the pages, SEO, all the stuff, Darren, that you know as a design company that's involved in kind of internationalization of websites. It can be used for social media promotion overseas, that kind of thing. We can find social media partners if you want to promote your product overseas, that kind of thing. So yeah, Mark, I'm happy to have a chat to you separately about it.
Thank you so much. It's a whistle-stop tour, and to be fair, when I started talking to Sue, well, probably a couple of years ago now, it's probably taken us a bit of time, got kind of on and off with talking, and for us to develop our offering. And we're not even promoting our kind of digital marketing services. We're promoting online courses, so it's education, so it's something specific products. And we just went along just to get involved to see what it was like. There was a potential match there, and it's to say, like, for £50 and your time to invested to get involved in the sessions, it's well worth it, and you learn a lot about yourself as an individual, but also about your business, about how people perceive it. Like Sue talk about the online pitching, in that in itself, those types of sessions cost you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds if you used to pay for them kind of privately. But we're in a group of kind of like-minded other business owners as well. Again, even though it's online, you still get that kind of bit of camaraderie, but also a bit of feedback, and you're building your networks and that. So I would say, really kind of most of the businesses that are in the group that we talked to at the very beginning, I'll read them out, that there's not many there that wouldn't really benefit. There's most of those services there very easily kind of can be sort of served overseas. It's just whether it's in your roadmap or not. But I would definitely encourage everybody to. Yeah.
One of the things two things I'd say is, one, I really love the virtual trade missions because it allows small businesses to punch well above the weight.
Yeah.
So, normally if you had to spend 10 grand going somewhere to meet other partners, you might think twice about it. But actually, and it's a great leveler, because all anyone sees is that screen, and that's your chance to engage with them, and they don't know how big your business is. And as long as you've got the right product, and you match their expectations, then it's a great level playing field. I've loved them, especially because in the Tees Valley, let's be honest, our business size and structure is quite small compared to, say, we work with the Northwest or London, but these actually really allow local businesses to punch above the weight. So I'm a great fan of them. And the other thing I would say is, you get a lot of training. It makes you actually reevaluate your business to you know, to understand what you need to be export ready. But the Export Academy does that. We have a big session on of kind of a business checklist and analysing your own business before you actually start to export, so that you're in the best place you can be. So yeah, don't think. So my message for today is, don't think it's just for big companies, because anybody can do it.
Thank you so much, Sue. Thank you for joining us. We are kind of like, we're up to the time, but we're going a few minutes over because we've still got Ainsley to bring in from the Redcar Cleveland business growth team. And it's going to kind of follow on from kind of what Sue was saying about kind of like support for businesses and kind of like funding, but kind of more kind of local stuff. But so I'm going to say goodbye to Sue. If you want to contact Sue, just drop us a message and then we'll drop kind of email back. But otherwise, go to the website. We've dropped it in the chat there, great.gov.uk. But I'm just going to bring in Ainsley now. Thank you so much again, Sue, and speak to you soon. Hang on after the call, hang on after the webinar, and we'll catch up. So let's bring in Ainsley. You only wanted a small slot, Ainsley, so I think come on. So
good morning, everyone. Thanks, Darren. Just really a bit of an update about the business growth team, you know, part of Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council. We've of course been focusing on the COVID grants a lot, looking at the local restriction support grant and the additional restriction grants. Again, based on the sort of the budget that's going to come through, we'll certainly be heavily involved in the recovery process for the borough. So if you think your business is looking for, you know, any grants and we can support that way, please contact the team. We will try to signpost as much as we can and help as much as we can with accessing the government grants. We are doing a little bit of business as usual, although it's only a small part of the team. We've got myself, who's still doing business startup support. We've been inundated with startup inquiries, which is really positive. People looking to take that next step. I know a lady, Tracy, put a comment, was there any startup grants? There is some funding available. It is dependent on a number of factors. The support through the Tees Valley Combined Authority, the support ourselves, and we're actually developing a startup grant for Redcar and Cleveland businesses. So stay tuned with that one. That's something that we'll certainly promote. We've also got the High Street Support Scheme, which is in action, which is in operation, and that's a grant that can look to help in retail spaces and retail clusters. Again, that's a sort of an avenue of funding that we're looking to support the retail sector with. There's a lot of sort of partner funding and partner development and workshops available. And some of these are just jotted down off our Twitter account. So if you are on Twitter, please follow us. We're on Business in RC is our handle. So, for example, some of the sort of additional support packages that we're promoting is the university support, which is the Tees Valley, Grow Tees Valley, sorry. That's growth sparks, management catalysts, leading growth. We've also got support for the cultural sector, which is through Digital City, which is the creative Fuse. We've got workshops through the NCTA Academy. Again, that's for coastal towns. So there's quite a lot of support available. It's just really about finding a point of contact to access that support. We would be more than happy to sort of help you look through the support that's available, the different grants, look at your sort of challenges and help you sort of overcome them moving forward. If you're interested in just sort of specific updates that we send you, we also have a business bulletin. The business bulletin, we aim to go out sort of weekly or at least fortnightly. And that has a range of information from the smaller businesses, the sort of self-employed smaller businesses, right the way up to the SABICs and the bigger industrial and commercial companies. But really what we try to do is adapt our style to fit our audience. And if there's anything that we can do or signpost, we certainly will. We are focusing mainly on the COVID support at the moment. The grants that are coming through from central government are distributed through ourselves and through sort of the council's function. So yeah, of course, a lot of our sort of our actions are focused on COVID and the recovery, but we're still trying to do some business as usual support, certainly in the pre-start and early stage support via myself.
Thank you so much, Ainsley. I've put the email address and I've updated it from last month because you gave me kind of a slightly amended version. So that's the latest updated version, and the Twitter handle is there. And like I said last month, I know not everybody uses Twitter. just make it part of your mission, because in terms of if you're looking for business advice, that you're going to get a lot of you're going to be able to pick up a lot of information on Twitter, which you just won't really see on Facebook. So definitely try just to sign up, and if there's only one account you should follow, then definitely follow that one, because that'll signpost you to loads of other information across the borough throughout the year. So the team are really, really active on that account. So probably definitely follow them, even above us. So above the business, getting it from the horse's mouth there. So they get the information first before we see it. And all we do is kind of like share it, just try to get it out to a bigger audience. So please give them a follow. Yeah, so we've got the email address there. So email the team there. I think that kind of wraps up the whole thing. We're a little bit over on time. I just want to say thank you to everybody today that's presented. So we heard from Andy from Lemontop Gin. We heard from Sue from DIT Northeast. We heard from Richard Baker from Redcar Cleveland Ambassadors. And we've just heard there from Ainsley from the business growth team at the council. If you have any queries or inquiries and you're watching this video later on, again, please just message us. Anything you and we'll try and put you in contact with the right people or signpost you. So don't feel like, oh, you've missed it. You've got the email addresses there on the screen for the main point of contact. But anything else you want to know, follow the links that were kind of provided at the time, or just drop us a line. It'd be great to hear from you. We're going to be back in May, and in May, we've got the fabulous Helen Williams from Just Like Home Interiors. I've really twisted her arm to present in May, so yeah, look forward to that, because she's got a Redcar home interiors business which does trade overseas. It's got a fantastic e-commerce site. She sells all over the world. It's a fantastic business. It's a bit of a secret, I think, in terms of how her team and herself have really grown that business. So I'm really looking forward to her sort of kind of talking about that. And then also we have got Lisa Sidgwick from Darlington Building Society, sort of talking about how they're supporting local community groups and charities across Redcar and Cleveland. So if you know somebody that might be interested in that talk, then please do get them to come along to the Business Network event in May. And if you don't receive the emails, go to Redcar Cleveland Business Network.com and to sign up for the newsletter there, or just look out on Eventbrite for the next one. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for bearing with us. Thank you. It's a little bit over time, but I hope you found it enjoyable. I do hope you have a good, restful Easter coming up next month. And yep, stay safe, and speak to you soon.